People end up believing a lie. This happens for Christians and non-Christians alike. I just want to say that. And also up front, if you're watching this and you're struggling with suicide, you need to reach out and get help. There are a lot of people who understand where you're at. They understand what you're going through. You might not believe that. You don't want to think that people know exactly what you're going through, but they do. And you have to get help. If you're somebody that's watching this and somebody's confessed to you that they're thinking about killing themselves, you have to help get them help. You can't remain in silence. You can't make promises you can't keep by saying, I'll never tell anybody. The issue is far too important. You have to maybe put your friendship on hold and put it above their well-being. And I guarantee you, if these things happen, if you find help or if you have a friend that needs help and you help them find it, friendships will be restored, and most of all, lives will be saved. I just have to say that up front as a matter of conscience. Why do people contemplate suicide? It's because they ultimately believe a lie that they're better off dead than alive. And then why do they believe that lie? It's because they end up losing they lose a sense of hope. They suffer circumstances that they see no way out of. They experience tremendous loss and trials, guilt and shame, and they think that the only way out is to end their own life. And it happens for a number of different reasons according to our worldview. Worldviews matter. Ideas have consequences. Like I was kind of alluding to in my story when I was trying to live out my atheism, it led me to some hard places. I had to make some really difficult decisions as to how I was going to live my life if I wanted to be consistent. Now, that's if I wanted to be consistent and not borrow from another worldview. When I was doing my research, I was thinking worldview terms, Christian and non-Christian, and one of the answers that I thought of is, first thing that comes to my mind as to why people contemplate suicide is I always thought it had to do with mental illness. People are mentally ill. But then I read the statistic that 54% of people who die by suicide actually have never been diagnosed with a mental illness. So it doesn't necessarily have to do with depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, something like that. It's something different, and I think it's important that to understand that in the last 20 years we've seen incredible strides in medical technology, medical advances, use of medication to treat those things: anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, multiple personality disorder, these type of things. We were able to treat those things more effectively than any other time in history. And then also we have a better understanding scientifically. We have a better understanding of how the brain functions and how it works. And with these advances in science and medication and technology, we should see the rates of suicide declining. That's what we should see. If naturalism is true, certainly that's what we should see. And it's not what we're seeing, unfortunately, especially during this pandemic. Rates of suicide, they're not skyrocketing yet, but I think they will be. At the end of all of this, I think we'll look back and see that suicides have gone through the roof as far as number of them. And ultimately, as the Judeo-Christian influences, I'm speaking from my comfortable home in Thousand Oaks, California, where I think Christian influences might be more prevalent than where you're at, certainly, but as the Judeo-Christian influences wane in our culture, as in our culture they go away, we see suicide rates have climbing. And like I said before, these ideas that permeate our culture, these ideas that are out there, they have consequences.